Alrighty then. Hello, my dear friends. Welcome back. So guess what? We're going to continue with our logistic regression algorithm right from where we left off. So sure enough, as you know, previously we created a variable called Titanic TF and loaded our data set. Now we want to get a little more detailed information about the data set. So we're going to need to ask a question to ChatGPT to achieve this particular goal. Now, I'm going to come over here to the message section and I'll ask a question like this. Hi, ChatGPT. I have loaded the Titanic data set from the Seaborn library. The data set is in a variable named Titanic_DF. Now I want to get more detailed information about the data set. Can you help me? All right, so the message is ready. I'll send it. Okay, so here we've got some answer, and I just want to wait for it to be complete. Okay, my friends, it says it's going to help us explore the chatbot dataset in more detail. It also states that we can achieve this goal with the info method, and it writes the code for us below. Now, my friends, I don't know if you remember, we used this method in our previous algorithm, but just to refresh your memory, see what ChatGPT says about this method. This is going to provide you with a summary of the dataset, including the column names, the number of non-null values in each column, and the data types of each column. It will also show the total number of entries in the dataset. So yeah, we're going to see this information in our notebook shortly. But first, let's finish what ChatGPT has to say. It says that we can look at the head of the dataset with the head method, which we've already actually done. So let's not actually waste any time and transfer the code to the notebook. So we've already written the above codes, and here we're going to focus on only the last part, right? So in this context, I'll just take the whole last part and transfer it over to the notebook. And now I can run the code. And look at the basic information about the data set comes up as a printout. And yeah, so anybody who wants to can have ChatGPT interpret this information for them. However, since we applied this process previously in the previous algorithm that we did, we're going to solve it directly ourselves. Okay, my friends, there are a total of 891 rows and 15 columns. Okay, we can see the names of each variable here. So I'm going to ask ChatGPT what these columns mean. All right, so we'll continue in the middle. We can see the non-blank values in the data. And currently I see values that are missing in 3 variables. Yeah, so these age, deck, and embark_town are the variables. So we'll need to examine them together in the exploratory data analysis section. But for now, we'll continue. Oh, you see here, we can see the data types. So here's a summary of them. You can also review that if you need to. So right now, my friends, we do see the variable names, but we don't know what they mean. Why don't we just ask ChatGPT? So I'll come over here to the message section and write something like, can you tell me, respectively, what the variables in the dataset mean according to the information obtained from the above method? All right, so we'll send that message. Okay, my friends, the variables' meanings start appearing on the output in order according to the information received from the info method. We're going to wait a moment for the answer to complete. Okay, my friends. So as you know, this data set is collected according to the passenger's information after the famous Titanic ship sunk. So according to the data here, data scientists carry out various studies. Now let's examine the variables in order. So first, we have the survived variable. And my friends, this variable indicates whether a passenger survived or not. It's encoded to be 0 for not survived and 1 for survived. Okay, so this variable will be the target variable for us. We'll continue with the next one. It's the P-class variable. Now, anybody who doesn't know, the variable represents the passenger class. It's a categorical variable with 3 levels. First is first class, second is second class, and the third would be third class. And moving on, the sex variable, and this variable represents the gender of the passenger, and it is a categorical variable with two levels, male and female. And moving on, we've got the age variable next, my friends. So this variable represents the age of the passenger, and it's a continuous numerical variable. Now, check this out. There's the SIB-SP variable right next to it. This variable represents a number of siblings or spouses aboard the Titanic for a given passenger. It is a discrete numerical variable. Okay, so there's a parch variable on the side. This variable represents the number of parents or children aboard the Titanic for any given passenger. It, too, is a discrete numerical variable. And yeah, it looks a bit like the SIB-SP variable. However, there are some slight differences. We'll continue on. Next is the fare variable. This variable represents the fare, the ticket price paid by the passenger. It is a continuous numerical variable. All right, my friends, next up is embarked. So this variable represents the port of embarkation for a given passenger. It is a categorical variable with three levels: C for Cherbourg, Q for Queenstown, and S for Southampton. And what do we have next, my friends? The class variable. So this variable is similar to the P-class variable and represents the passenger class. It's a categorical variable with three levels, first, second, and third. But wouldn't you say that this variable is the categorical version of the P-class variable? And the who variable is next. This variable indicates whether the passenger is a man, a woman, or child. It's a categorical variable with three levels, man, woman, and child. And yeah, there is the adult male variable next, my friends. This variable indicates whether the passenger is an adult male or not. And look, it's a Boolean variable. So we can think of it as a variable used only in male research. We'll continue with the deck variable. So this variable represents the deck where the passenger's cabin was located. It too is a categorical variable. And here, my friends, the embark town variable is next. So wouldn't it be similar to the embarked variable? It represents the port of embarkation. It's a categorical variable. So the last two variables we have alive. Okay, my friends, this variable indicates whether the passenger survived or not. It's a categorical variable with two levels, yes and no. So yeah, we could say that this variable is the categorical version of the survived variable. The last variable is the alone variable. So this variable indicates whether the passenger was traveling alone or with family members, and this is a Boolean variable. So my friends, I don't know, did you notice most variables are kind of sort of similar to each other? For those who want to use it for different purposes, we come across different data types, and you'll see this a lot. So yeah, most likely when we move to the machine learning section, we're going to remove one of the similar variables from the data set, and it'll be at our discretion. Now let's transfer all the information here into our notebook. Look at this, guys. I'm just going to be copying the first part of this from the left side. Over here, I'm going to open up a cell in Markdown format and paste right into it. Okay, so we can do the same for the remaining part. So I'll just copy the rest from the left and I'll paste it at the bottom over here on the right. Now, because I want each variable to appear as bullets, I'm going to come up here to the top and add an asterisk. Okay, so I did the same for all the variables. And now everything is ready. Let's run the code. All right, my friends, it comes up pretty doggone well. All right, so hey, guess what? Let's wrap it up here, and we can mess around with it next time when you come back. All right, see you in the next video.